Hey guys, in this video we're going to go over integration by parts. So what is integration by parts? We use integration by parts in cases where we can't just integrate like we normally do, or in cases where we can't use u substitution. For example, if you look at this problem, integral of x times e to the x dx, if you look at that, we can't just integrate it normally, and we can't use u substitution, because if you set u equals x, and what would happen to the e to the x, or if you set u equals e to the x, what would happen to the x? In this case, we just use this formula. Integral of u dv equals uv minus integral of v du. What this is essentially saying is you label one of these as u and you label the other one as dv. Now the one you label as u should be easy to derive since we're going to get du out of that, and the one you pick as dv should be easy to integrate because we're going to get v out of that. If we look at this, we see that x is easy to derive. If we derive x, we just get a 1, and du is just 1 dx, and dv, if we set that as e to the x, integral of e to the x is just e to the x of v equals e to the x. Notice that if we had flipped this around, if we had set dv equals x, if we integrated that, we would have gotten x squared divided by 2, and that would have made things more complicated. And the whole goal of integration by parts is to make the initial integral simpler. So now, since we have the variables identified, we can use this part. uv is x times e to the x minus integral of v, which is e to the x, times du, which is just dx. Now this part is so much more simpler to integrate than this. We know that the integral of e to the x dx is just e to the x. So the answer to this what seemed to be more complicated in the beginning is just x times e to the x minus e to the x. And don't forget the plus c, since it is an indefinite integral. Now let's do another example. Integral of natural log of x dx. If we see this one, unlike last time, two things are not being multiplied. But we know we can't use u substitution in this case because that wouldn't simplify anything. And we also can't just integrate it normally unless you have this memorized, which you don't need to. So in this case, remember that whenever something's by itself, it can always be multiplied by a 1. So let's just say this is being multiplied by 1. Now, we have to figure out what's u and what's dv. Out of 1 and natural log of x, the easier one to integrate is 1. And the easier one to derive is natural log of x. Also, if we had set natural log of x as dv, we would have had to integrate dv to get v, and we'd be back to what we started with, so that wouldn't have helped. So automatically you know that natural log of x has to be u. So from this we can get our du, which is just 1 over x dx, and from the dv, the integral of 1 is just x. Now we just go back to our formula. uv, which is u natural log of x times v x minus integral of v, which is x, times du, 1 over x dx. X over x is just 1, so integral of 1 dx. and the integral of 1 is just x. So the final answer is going to be x natural log of x minus x, and once again don't forget the plus c since it is an indefinite integral, and that is the final answer. That was the basic idea for integration by parts. In later videos I'll cover more complex examples. Hopefully this helped. Leave a comment below if you have any questions. If you haven't already, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.